Hi, my name is Katie Weatherup, and one of the challenges that I hear from a lot from my clients is things about money stress, money lack, challenges in having a way to make enough money where you don't exhaust yourself with the effort. And I've put a lot of thought into this because in my own life, I realized about 3 years ago that I'd had a life path of having chronic money stress. So I grew up in a family where we were taken care of at the most fundamental levels, but it was a juggling act, and my parents often had tension and fear about this enough money concept. And then I had a couple of years where I was working as an engineer, so I was making really good money, but it really did nothing to reduce the fear and anxiety and tension that I had about money. And then at some point I took the wild leap into being an entrepreneur and doing this shamanic work that I loved so much. And I had a lot of struggle with money because I really didn't know how to be an entrepreneur successfully. There's an abundance of really great programs that'll teach you how to market and sell and, have a viable practice and get enough clients and all that good stuff. But that really wasn't the case, at least anything that I found at the time that I had embarked on this. I was sort of in the I'm passionate about this work. I love it absolutely down to my soul, and I'll just keep offering it. And it worked out. But 3 years ago, I just realized how utterly sick I was of being worried and stressed about money all the time, having this as a constant companion. And so one of the things I really try to leverage when I'm trying to solve a problem that's been sticky, that's been obstinate, that hasn't moved well, is to set up the energetics so that the material world can fall into alignment, to sort of repattern things. And what I realized was that I would do money work often as an urgent need to get it to flow, which had good results. I was pretty good about, I need more money, and boom, I get focused on that and some money would flow. But the chronic, it's kind of like an odor in the room. The chronic underlying experience was a lot of thoughts and tension about having enough money. And I got really tired of it. I'm like, okay, I'm really, really, really over this. But I realized I needed to be more systematic, that a journey here and a journey there weren't going to do it. So I started creating these offerings because everything good that I want from my guides, I so want whoever else wants to receive it to have that too. I want to be free from money, stress, and worry, and I want all the beautiful clients that I work with, if they feel called to say yes to the offer, to be able to come along. So I started doing these group healings in this really systematic way, where rather than it just having one journey, I would do journey after journey after journey. And at this point, I really love creating offers that have a systematic approach, that have multiple journeys, that work with multiple layers, because we accumulate so much layering of stressful thoughts and feelings that one-time energetic intervention may not move the dial as much as I would like for everyone. But when you start to get systematic, you can see a really huge change. And sure enough, in my life, once I started creating these group offers that were very systematic, that had consistent work on behalf of money, I started to see this magnificent shift. I saw this movement, and I think it's possible that I have passed the moment in my life when I ever again have a legitimate concern about having enough money. It doesn't mean my head won't get loud, doesn't mean I won't get triggered by things, but I really see the viability in my life. And this doesn't mean I get to, retire at this point, but it does give me the opportunity to say, I'm on the right track. If I keep doing this work I love, which I want to do anyway, the destiny path seems to lead toward never having fear and struggle at the level of circumstance again. And that was absolutely not the case 3 years ago when I was living in a house that I really, really liked, but upstairs the guy was on meth and the cops were needing to be called on him regularly because he couldn't behave. And I was trying to make peace with it because my landlord was understandably charging me an incredibly low amount of rent for the market. And I was so stressed about money, I felt like, I can't afford to move. And then of course, things devolved to the point where I'm like, I've got to figure out how to afford to move. But the stress and anxiety of that was really tough, and that was the kind of a turning point where I got really determined. I'm going to keep putting attention on the energetics of this in the interest of moving it. And one of the things that's true about money is it's a new skill for most of us. So a lot of us had past lives where we were in the ashrams, or we were in the priest or priestess service. We were offering our healing gifts, our divination gifts, our scholar gifts, and we were in religious orders of the time that somebody else took care of keeping the roof patched and making sure the seekers paid on their way through the door and passing the collection plate. Whatever the models look like, someone else was taking care of that. We were taken care of by the tribe, and that's not available anymore. So a lot of my clients who have these magnificent soul gifts have a lack of practical experience when you add up all their lifetimes about trading their time and talent for money. Some of us took vows of poverty. It's kind of a weird system anyway. You know, hunter-gatherer people could not put aside winter supplies for retirement. You know, there just wasn't an availability to this. We have this incredibly complicated, elaborate structure, and my goal is always to be able to interface with it in a way that creates enough money with a lot of ease so that I can be really present in my life about what I care about. So I'm not over giving of my time and energy to the point that I don't have energy left over trying to solve this money problem. Instead, it's a part of my life that I tend, along with, you know, a bunch of other areas, you know, like my health and my spiritual practice and my relationships, and, you know, just all the cool expressions of the secret sauce to a life really well lived on my own terms. So I just want to kind of offer this overview. You know, as you see my offers, you'll see a series of journeys rather than a one-off. And it's not that I don't offer those as well. So if you're wanting over time to just be like, okay, yeah, Katie's offering clear vows of poverty again. Yes, let's take another pass. Let's go a little deeper. Absolutely, that's wonderful too. But whether you work with me or someone else, I just want to offer the merit to a systematic approach. And I'd like to encourage you to think about having your own practices. You can do regular fire ceremony. You can set up and tend an altar that magnetizes money to you. But there's something, whether I'm doing it on your behalf, someone else is doing it on your behalf, or ideally you're also doing it on your behalf, the systematic nature of tending the energy flow toward the outcome you want is really, really useful, because we, again, you know, the capitalism structure, I'm not against capitalism, but it's different than it was for our ancestors. You know, the job descriptions that most of us have didn't even exist 50 years ago, and they were inconceivable 100 years ago. Most of us are doing things that our ancestors never conceived of in a way that trades our time and talent for money, and we have an abundance of choice, but there's a complexity. It's a different skill set than the skills that resolve this question for us in our past lives and our ancestors who came before us. So as a result, the focused efforts of aligning the energy really elegantly in shamanic reality, of cleaning out the fear and stress and the repetitive thinking, of inviting the guides to inform us of the energy patterning that really creates success, all of that, and having that working 24/7 in the background is really powerful. So when I make offerings that are designed to help people to address this complicated question of exchanging time and talent for money, or drawing money into their lives, or releasing their fears about money, or just, you know, really getting settled in this regard, it's with this systematic approach that deals with the many, many, many facets of this question, the three laws: attraction, vibration, and assimilation, the releasing of vows of poverty, the installing an interface so you can be really in integrity with who you are as a soul, but having your field working well with the money structures that exist, the the ability to receive money. Sometimes people, have tension about even taking money in, underlying beliefs. A lot of us, metaphysical types really like to play in the upper chakras, really like to play in spirit. And that's beautiful, but if we don't drop our energy all the way into our body and get our roots in the ground, the root and the sacral chakra really are the magnetizers of money. If you're in the upper chakras, you can work out things with ways and means, but it's very hard to just fundamentally have money in the bank without being able to utilize those chakras. Somebody has a high level of skill with something else if they have good money outcomes and their roots aren't in the ground. They don't have energy flowing through those lower chakras. So it's obviously a huge topic. I have done so many journeys to just systematically take counsel with the guides, and that has been a really wonderful journey, and it's given me such a picture of the mastery. And it's really glorious to be able to check in and say my results are in an entirely different place 3 years after I became committed to this. There was a much shorter timeline before things improved dramatically, but I just want to invite you to the systematic nature. All the nights that you stayed up, all the moments that you felt this stress, they kind of accumulate into a low level what you've decided about the world and how hard it is to have money and how scary it is not to, and all these kind of things. And the systematic cleaning of it out and installing a more elegant, functional relationship with money, it just takes some building blocks. It takes some time and focus and intention. And if it feels like a match, I'd love to help provide that on your behalf.